Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? So, in understanding that and looking at that as a
Yeah.
data point of measure that leads you to this moment, how does one actually start to create change in their life in
So, you,
consideration of the
so
impact of the past?
let's just be clear on this for a moment here, right? We all have a story. You've got a story. I've got a story. So, how we do that story, what that story looks like, is what patterns we put in place, the behaviors we now have, and then how we change that story going forward. And that sounds lovely, just like you said, but it's the truth is I can't change the past. I know, and I can speak so truly to things like that. I know what it's like to stand on that cliff and wanting to take my life because I don't want to go any further because life got so tough and it felt like there was no hope forward. I know what it was like facing hospital and told that you're never going to live another day. I know what that feeling is like. I know that moment when you think there is nothing that I want to live for. I don't want to take another breath. I don't want to do anything else. That is that moment that you go, I'm here, recognize it, but do I want to stay here? Is this serving me? And here's the thing that I had to learn. I call it a crossroad in life. I can choose to keep doing my old story. Is that serving me? Is that going to get me where I want to be? So here's the thing. Often when it is at your lowest point, you are not able to do it for yourself. So I had to do it for someone else. And I believed at the point that and I've had a few crossroad moments, trust me, in my life. But at the time that I started, because it's a journey, and I think we have to be clear on this, it doesn't mean that, oh, overnight, I've got it sorted. I'm now going to head this way. It is a journey. And if you are at the rock bottom of the rock bottom, that journey is tough because you got to get through all those rocks and boulders and the things that are, you know, have been the things that have been the challenges. And I want to encourage you that the road does get easier. I look at my life now and I'm so grateful that I get to live. And the reason I get excited that I get to take a breath every day. I get excited that I get to live every day. I get excited that even though some days, and by the way, we're in isolation right now, um, there is like this continuous every day doing the same groundhog thing. I go, but I get to do that because there was a time in life where I hit one of those crossroads where I was choosing not to do that. So if I go back into where it was tough, those tough moments, I got drivers, I got things that I couldn't do it for myself. I had always promised myself, Michael, that even when I had no children, that if I was ever to have children, they were never, ever gonna go through anything that I did in my life. I promised that to myself. And so in that moment when there was a crossroad and I had children at that time, I would go, I can't do this for me, but I want a better life for my children. And I said I wouldn't do this for my kids. I'm going to be true on that promise. And that pulled me out. Or the moment when, as a young girl, I had already been through horrific things before I'd hit at this time where I could consciously make a decision. And I go, okay, I could have been dead any of those 16 years beforehand. I'm not you know, and for me, I was like, okay, God must have a bigger purpose for me than I can see for myself. I'm not going to waste those 16 years of going through that. I'm going to make a decision today to keep going towards. And then it was once I make that decision, I've got to surround people that can take me on that journey. And that was the pieces that over time that's changed depending what that crossroad has been, but I have learnt those skills to do every time I hit that crossroad is if I keep doing this journey from today onwards, because here's the thing, I can't change yesterday, but I have the power to change today and forward. And that's why I love thinking about a lot of things in the future and the hope and the vision around that. But I also love right where I am right now. How am I turning up today? Is it better than yesterday? Awesome. Then I'm heading in the right direction.